Here it is, ladies and gentlemen, right here on DonBest.com. I'm Frank Trigg in the Don Best studios. That's Nick Kalikas down there in Costa Rica, and this is the MMA Insiders. Here we have it, finally. A UFC event is back. We lost 151, but we have 152 with a massive change in the main event. The co-main event stayed as it was, but I'm not sure that Nick is caught up yet with everything going on. Finally got the break he needed, but I'm not sure if it was a long enough break for him to go crazy again with all these odds he's got to put out there. Nick, how you feeling, and are you ready to go for UFC 152?
Yeah, actually, I'm geared up. I'm ready to go. It's been a nice little break, but I'm glad the UFC is back. But man, we're going to hit it hard here the next few weeks. There's a lot of fights going on, so you're right. I'm going to be going nuts. A lot of odds to make, but I'm looking forward to this event for sure.
All right, let's get right into it. UFC 152, Toronto, Canada, in the Air Canada Center. Every fight will be shown on some form of platform. Facebook for 3 fights. FX for 4 fights, and then the pay-per-view main event for all 5 fights. These are 2 fights. All these fights from top to bottom, you've got to watch. So if you get a chance, check it out. Co-main event, Demetrious Johnson, DJ, versus Joe Benavidez. Joe B. Johnson, MMA record 15-2, 3 wins via KO. Benavidez, 16-2, 4 wins via KO. On record, they match up very, very well. Stylistically, they match up very, very well. This fight will go everywhere, but I'm taking Joe B. What's the line, and what do the fans think right now, Nick?
Well, the line's pretty steep. It's minus 280 for Benavidez, and the comeback on Demetrious Johnson's around plus 220 right now out there. And I think it's a little bit high. We did set the line on the MMA Oddsbreaker show, so it's been out for a little while. And the public has been betting back and forth. It's been staying pretty steady. I think the line's a little bit too high, and I'm going to take my stab at Demetrious Johnson plus 200. This fight, like you said, is going to take place everywhere. I think probably, for the most part, it's going to stay up on the feet. And on the feet, Joe B definitely has the power advantage, but I think that Demetrious Johnson can outpoint him. And when you get 2 competitive guys like this at flyweight, especially in the flyweights, chances are the fight's going to go to the distance. And if it hits the cards, it's going to be close. So I'd rather be on the side of plus 200, I think, with this fight or above. So I'm going to go with DJ.
I think that Joe B is finally going to prove that alpha male has kind of pushed themselves across. They've been questioning whether or not they can handle the big fights. I think they're ready to go now, finally. I think Joe B is ready to prove it. Like, look, alpha male's back. We're ready to take the entire team and push us on the smaller weight divisions. But I have to agree with you. If this fight stays on his feet, Joe B is going to be in a lot of trouble against DJ. DJ is a guy that can outpoint him, and we both know this fight's probably going to go 5 rounds, and outpointing a guy is the best way to win a 5-round fight. We've all seen GSP do that, and he keeps on winning, and DJ understands that concept. But I think that Joe B will try to catch him early, hit him hard and hit him heavy to get this fight to win the first couple, 3-4 rounds, to maintain that. But this fight, for sure, is going to go everywhere, top, bottom, against the cage, in the canvas, and you got to really decide which way you want to go with this bet. I'm sticking with Joe B. Obviously, Nick is sticking with DJ and the underdog. That's the way the co-main event's going to go. Let's move on to the main event. Kind of strange how this thing worked out. John Jones is blamed for canceling 151. Now he's on 152 against the 85-pounder that used to be a 205-pounder in Vitor Belfort. Belfort has an MMA record of 21-9, 14 wins via KO. He's a former UFC light heavyweight champion. He's beat Wanderlei Silva and Rich Franklin as of late. John Jones, MMA record of 16-1, 8 wins via KO. He's a current UFC light heavyweight champion, and he's also on the list for the pound-per-pound best fighter in the world with GSP, with Anderson Silva. To me, for as much as I love Vitor Belfort, for as much as I think he has a great style that can push the pace and push John Jones in the corner, I think John Jones went over it. Nick, what's going to happen, and what's the line?
Yeah, man, the line's really indicating that too. Minus 925 right now. The comeback on Jones is 625. Like you said, Vitor moved down, man. He was a former champion at 205, but he moved down to 185 because he really couldn't match up with the light heavyweights these days. So he's looked great at 185, but now he's taken a step back up to 205, and he's fighting arguably the best ever at 205. I know that's a strong comment to say at this point, but look at his resume. I mean, yeah. Jones has already beaten everybody, almost cleaned out the division already, the top tier guys. So Jones is definitely a level above most people, and I think it's a terrible matchup for Vitor. Vitor's going to have to come in early and strong and look for that knockout in the first couple minutes. If he doesn't get it, Jones is going to take him down and just have his way with him. He's going to either win by submission or TKO stoppage. So it's a bad matchup for Vitor.
Man, that's an incredible breakdown, Nick. I actually agree with you in every aspect. And to be honest with you, John Jones has cleaned out the weight class because Machida was asked to take this fight on short notice. He said no. Henderson obviously got hurt, and that's the reason why 151 was canceled, so he's not ready to go yet. But everybody else in the division was asked to do it. They all said no, except for the 85-pounders. and Chael's son and Vitor Belfort. They chose Vitor Belfort to come make the fight. It's going to be a great fight, a lot of high action, but I agree with you. John Jones runs his way through this thing. In Las Vegas, Nevada, I'm Frank Trigg. Down there in Costa Rica, that's Nick Kalikas. This is the MMA Insiders here on DonBest.com.